When will Obamacare be a success? First, let me say this. It's not going to be based on some CBO report about finances way above our heads. And secondly, it's not going to be announced by a politician on Meet the Press. When Obama first began to sell us on the idea of Obamacare, he said there were two big things that he looked at. One was the rising costs of health care in this country, but we have the highest costs per capita health care than any country in the world. And I agree with him on that. And the second issue was the fact that too many people did not have access to affordable health care. Well, again, who could deny that? And so what he started out with and what he was preaching was true, and we all agree with. And shame on the Republicans for not making hay with this issue way back when they had control of the presidency and Congress. They failed, they did nothing, and these two things were true. So to judge Obamacare as a success or not is going to begin with those two things. Now, I'm already hearing stories about, well, inflation, healthcare costs have stayed with inflation, so it's working. I don't want to hear that. It's way too early to tell if it's been a success on cost yet. I mean, actually, I buy prescriptions, I go to the doctor, pretty much the same right now, so I can't give you thumbs up or thumbs down yet. It may take years. The second thing, though, was with all these signups, we had 6 million so far, and the liberals said when this thing was about to be passed that 30 million people who did not have access to health care would be able to get health care. And again, we're some time away from that, and I'm willing to give them time. So we don't know just yet. My theory is, though, just like poverty, they'll pass a massive program, spend trillions of dollars, and 20 years from now we'll have just as many people that don't have health care as we do now, and they'll be saying it's a success. Well, guess what? It won't be. But I also want to remind you there's two other indirect results that we can look at to determine if it's a success or not. Number one is votes. Yeah, votes. In case you don't know this, politicians don't pass anything that they don't believe will help them in the next election. It's always about votes, number one. I even think that when Joe Biden, you maybe remember this, when Obama signed it into bill, he got up, people were clapping, making noise, and Biden didn't know he was being recorded, but somebody had mic there, but he whispered in Obama's ear, hey, this is a big effing deal. I don't think he was excited that some people were going to get health care. He was excited about what it was going to do for the Democrat Party in the upcoming elections. That's what he was talking about. And then finally, a second indirect result of this, which would be a success for Obama and the Democrats, is if the government can take a bigger piece of the pie. If government can have a little bit more control over individual lives, then it will be a success for them. I don't want that to happen. This was my fear from the beginning. But let's keep it all in perspective, and let's just hope that Republicans or others can come up with some plans and some ideas, alternatives to make this thing better. And by the way, my next video is about some alternatives to Obamacare that maybe you'll like.